Okay, here we are with episode 3 of the Battle of Rolica. This will be turns 5 and 6. The British are about to move, and the situation is not looking too good for the British. You can see this light infantry unit here is under threat. This Portuguese infantry unit here is in a square, tying up one of my cards. This unit is out of harm's way, but very weak. Light cavalry also very weak. On the French side, he's got a 1 weak unit here. The rest of his units are looking pretty good, but they are clutching at straws here. They are a little bit spread out. A quick reminder of my cards. That's what we're looking at. I think it's time to get my artillery into the fight because I have a bombard card there, and I can pair that with an artillery combat bonus. So here we go, back to the main scene, and we will play if I can find it, this will play the bombard card. We'll activate all 3 of my artillery because the card says they can issue an order to 4 or fewer. Ordered units may move up to 3 hexes and not battle, or may not move and battle with 2 additional dice. Ordered units. There we go. So this unit over here in the top right, he is a little bit hemmed in. He could move 3, but you cannot move through friendly units. And if you move through a leader, you have to stop with the leader. So he's just going to do that. At least it does get him. Whoops! It does get him a little closer to the action potentially. And I think this one here will be firing, and this one here is actually going to move. And I don't want to. This one here will be shooting at the line infantry here, so I cannot put this my mobile artillery in the line of sight. If it was placed here, it would block the line of sight for the artillery. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. Now Doug doesn't know this. Hopefully he hasn't looked at my cards. But I do have a special tactician's card, I should say, that artillery canister, which is really a first strike for artillery. If he decides to battle me on his turn, melee my foot artillery here, then I will get the first strike bonus. So that's why I'm being a little bit daring with my artillery. But this one here is going to fire, and this one here will be the target. So hopefully I will drive him off from looking for a flag or 2 or reduce him significantly to try and distract and save my light infantry. So the artillery will be battling with 1 extra dice, and in addition to that, I do have the artillery combat bonus. So it's going to be 2 dice plus 1 dice. So for a total of 3 dice. 3, 4, 3, 2 dice plus 2 for this card makes it 4 dice. Plus 1 for this card makes it 5 dice. So I'm hoping for flags and infantry symbols on this roll. Here we go. Let's see what we get. Well, 2 infantry symbols. So we'll do this, and I think it's is it Alt H or Control H? Control H. 1, 2 hits, and then we need to see if the leader takes a loss. The leader passes his casualty check. So that means that the 1 flag that was rolled, the leader can choose to ignore that flag, or he can choose to fall back. So I will leave that to Doug to see what he would like to do. My probably the best thing to do would be to fall back onto the hill away from the artillery, but we will see what he does. So I will leave that up to Doug. And with that, I will not retreat him, and Doug can do that on his first turn. So with that, I will end my turn and draw a new command card. And let's see what we got. We got a. What did we get? Attack right flank. Attack right flank. Well, that might get the. That might assist. That might assist the Portuguese. The right flank is the left, top left of the screen, and that might at some point be nice to get that light cavalry away from my squared up infantry. Anyway, that's where we are. So back to Doug for.
And it's back to me. In a short little scenario with only 5 banners, you've really got to be judicious in your choices and take your banners where you can. As I look at the field, we got 2 British infantry down to 1 figure. I got to try and pick those off. I got a Portuguese unit over on my left flank in square, which is always a little weaker, and then a cavalry Portuguese with only 1 figure. Looking at my cards, um, I got a big card there on the left flank, assault, take command any section, but I'm kind of cut up. I don't have a line that's been destroyed. A leadership and give them cold steel, which is, I think, the card I'm going to play, given here in my center, Mark has boldly moved one of his foot artillery up and in a devastating position to knock my units right off the hill. So I think we'll try and match that with give them cold steel. That's going to allow me to order this unit here, my French line, down to only 2 figures, a foot artillery against his foot artillery, and then we'll have a cavalry unit over there against his square, which will just be the 1 die on both sides. So we'll go with that. The card does give me 1 additional die, and at the end I'll draw a tactics card. So we'll go with the first one that's really key to the deal. Um, my French line attacking the light. Now you'll recall French line when attacking other infantry gets 1 additional die. So I'll have 3 die just from the unit, 1 die from the card, which would be 4 dice. So we'll go for that. And here's the roll. Oh, look at that. Boy, this would have been the roll to use in my next attack, where I got 3 artillery. That's a 1 in 6 chance for each die, and you get 3 of them. Pretty nice. But I'll take taking the hit there on the light. I'm not going to advance after that. Now I will do my melee foot artillery on foot artillery. That's going to be 4 die plus the extra die from the card for 5 die. We're hoping to repeat the roll we just got.
And
But
so at
remember,
this
swords
point, I
also
have
have
to step in and interrupt Doug's fun and games as he is about to melee with his +1 dice, give them the cold steel, his artillery against my artillery, and I'm going to play artillery canister, which is actually the reason why I moved the artillery up there so aggressively. I was kind of hoping he might have gone for the infantry. I was hoping the infantry was going to attack my artillery, but unfortunately that was not the case. But his artillery is now attacking my artillery, so I play artillery canister, and that essentially gives me a first strike capability. My artillery will battle first. So I am battling with 4 dice, and if we just check the terrain, I think switch over to the charts and we check the terrain, we can see my artillery is battling uphill to the opposing French artillery, and the hill up we are looking at, when we cross-reference RT in the battle effects up here. I'm not sure if that works on here. No, it doesn't. So RT, the red column with hill, it looks like going uphill, actually downhill or even hill to hill. There is no impact on the number of dice rolled. So that's good news for me. I will let's switch back to the main scene, and so the British Foot Artillery has actually 4 dice against the French Foot Artillery. Here we go. All right, so the sword, and the artillery is more than enough to eliminate this artillery before it can even take a. So it's gone. So there is no battle back there. And now we will go back to the rest of the balance of Doug's turn. We'll hand it back to Doug for his follow-on attack, which is he still has the light cavalry over here battling against the line infantry.
I'm too disappointed there. And then finally, my attack over here. Um, I guess we each get 1 die. In this case, learning opportunity. It's a melee. I think the square does what's called the bounce flag first, and then I take my roll. So this will be Mark's die roll. Forces a retreat. So I then have to back off. So we'll go there. That worked out well for Mark. And so I will draw up. I'll take my tactics card, draw 1, and then I'll hit the end turn standard, draw up, and now it's back to Mark.
So here we are at the end of Doug's turn, after the artillery battle in the center, and then the French light cavalry had an unsuccessful attack against the Portuguese light infantry, line infantry rather, in square, and were forced to fall back. I would at this point like to, and could indeed, if you have a look at my cards, play a card to bring the Portuguese out of square, and that would get my card back. The other thing, though, I really like to do is I would like to finish off with a scout center, finish off the or at least attack the line infantry here, because if I was to eliminate that unit, there'll be a 1 in 6 chance of also eliminating the leader for actually 2 flags. So I think that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to play then a scout center, activating 1 unit in the center, which will be this artillery unit, and we will fire on no movement, of course. So the artillery will be the attacker, the line infantry will be the target, and this gives me 4 dice. I do not have any special cards to boost the artillery's firepower. So here we go with 4 dice, and we got 1 infantry and 1 sword, just enough to eliminate the line infantry unit. So 1 more onto the that's 3 flags out of the 5 needed, and there you'll see 1 die roll needed for a leader loss check for the surviving leader, and so the loss check was he failed his leader loss check. Swords were rolled, and the leader was eliminated. So catastrophic result there for the French, as they are now down to only four flags. The British have claimed 4 flags, and so 1 more flag, and the British will claim victory, taking the victory from what looked like a pretty poor situation just one turn ago. This card says draw 1 tactician card at the end of the turn in addition. And when drawing 2 command cards, draw 2, choose 1 and discard the other. But before I draw up my cards, I have 1 other card to play. I am going to discard one of my tactics cards. I will discard this one here, and I am discarding to order a leader. It's an additional rule that came with the Leaders and Tacticians expansion, and so I'm going to activate this leader here. His name looks like it's Ferguson. I don't want to do that, but it'll just be without the horse artillery. I'm having a little bit of trouble here activating just the unit by himself. There we go. I think I succeeded, and so he is going to move into the water there, where he will have to stop because it's fordable. But movement rules apply. He could move up to 3, but even the leader has to stop as he splashes through the ford. And you'll see why. Hopefully next turn, I'm interested in playing this Call Forward Reserves card. This will allow me to call forward my heavy cavalry, which is languishing at the back of the battlefield, and bring him to potentially this hex over here, getting him close enough to the action, because I also have the cavalry charge card in my hand, which will allow that heavy cavalry to move up to 3 hexes, and then that would be interesting, an interesting option to attack possibly the light infantry in the middle of the French line down over here. All right, so with that, I will proceed to drawing up my cards, and let's see what we get. I have the choice of an assault center, which would be very nice, I think, and I will keep that over the assault right flank. Yes, I think so. So I will click this one to keep it. The other one gets discarded, and then I automatically drew up a new tactics card, and I got a battle back bonus. So whenever I am battling back in a melee, whatever unit is battling back will do so with 1 additional dice. And so with that, it is back to Doug to see how he reacts to this change of affairs. Things are looking up.
Wow, that was a big turn of events due to the canister that, in essence, is an ambush in memoir, first strike, negating my attack on the artillery and the subsequent retreat. And then the follow up, of course, to that. And that always happens after you get an event like that. You then play another card and wiping out my artillery. So a bad sequence of events for the French. And then, of course, adding salt to the wound, I lost my leader. So now I'm down 4 banners to 2. Desperate times call for desperate solutions. Here are the cards that I get to pick from. And I think what I'm going to try and do, because again, I want to avoid approaching the British under range fire unless I can get all the way up to melee. So I think I will do my assault left flank card and try and take his unit there and square. So we will order all these units on the French left flank, and we'll go 1, 2, 3. He'll go 1. He'll go 1. So we'll have 2 different assaults on the Portuguese light there. And we'll go ahead and do those attacks first. So when infantry is attacking a square, it's just regular. So the first French line will go after the Portuguese square with 5 dice. We'll see how we can do here. Need a good roll. There we go. 2 hits and 2 retreats. There's no leader there, so each flag counts as a hit. So that's actually 4 hits. So that's gonna eliminate that unit to give me a banner, which is good. Um, Mark will then be able to grab his card back, and I'm going to attack here and go after the light, and that'll put it back to Mark with a square decision. So Mark will need to take his card for the eliminated square and then make a square decision on the light and resolve the account. So with that, I will send it back to Mark.
All right, after that rather devastating response from the French on their left flank, which was completely eliminated my Portuguese line infantry in square. I'm now faced with a decision. This is still part of Doug's turn, but I, Mark, am now faced with a decision as to what to do with his light cavalry over here, coming close to my light infantry, whether they go into square. Probably the only advantage of my Portuguese line infantry being eliminated is that the card that had been randomly drawn from my hand when it went into square is now returned to my deck, so I am back to having all 6 cards again. So I will choose to go into square, and will send another randomly chosen card back into the to be held while this light infantry unit remains in square. And as you can see there on the top right of the screen, take command any section has been withdrawn, which would have been a useful card for, I do have leaders in the middle and on the right hand side which could have made use of that card, but it is what it is, and we are back to being in square. So now the British will roll 1 dice first of all, and try and inflict either a casualty on light cavalry or, even better, a bounce flag to make them retreat. They got the casualty. You can just see that at the top of the screen there. You just pull that down a little bit. There we go. So inflicts 1 casualty. And then the cavalry are still there, so they will now attack the infantry in square, and they are limited also to 1 dice. And they got a sword, which is a hit. So there we go, and that wraps up Doug's turn. He has to go back and draw up a card, but that wraps up his turn and actually wraps up the end of episode 3, turns 5 and 6. So the battle has, I think, with five flags determining the victory, British having 4 and the French having 3. It's looking interesting. The light cavalry on the French side are within striking distance of 2 British blocks, or 1 British block and 1 Portuguese block, with only 1 strength left in them. So that's obviously a danger. And but the British and their Portuguese allies only need to inflict 1 more loss on the French for a and the game stops instantly at that point. As soon as somebody gets to 5 points, there is no more follow-on turn. The game just stops. So it's finely poised, I would say, at the moment. So with that, we will wrap up episode 3, and we will see you in episode 4.